Meeting of November 2, 2020 to order. The meeting is being conducted via Zoom video conferencing, and it's being live streamed by the county channel. Correct, Robin?
Correct.
Thank you. All right, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Mr. Smith?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah, aye.
Okay, thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. The media was properly notified. We do not have any public comments. Next on the agenda is the approval of the committee meeting minutes for the agenda setting meeting of October 12, 2020. And those are in board docs. Do we have a motion to approve those?
I move that we approve the committee meeting minutes from October 12th for the agenda setting meeting.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Did I have a motion that was did I make a motion last meeting? Oh no, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
You're good?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. The motion carries 2-0-1. Mr. Smith abstaining. All right. Can we go back to the agenda? Thank you.
1 second.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, next is setting the November 10th board business meeting agenda. And we have in board docs a draft agenda for that meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Can you see it?
Yes, I'm just moving
Okay.
the participants so I can watch the hands. All right, so we need to, there's a few things that we're going to need to discuss, one of which is November 11th, the next day, if we do not finish this business meeting, is Veterans Day. And so that was a big issue last year with having that as a school day. We have the work session, remember, is November 13th and 14th. So we could recommend to the board at the beginning of this November 10th meeting that we have any leftover items go to the work session as opposed to Veterans Day. Any comments about that?
I think that sounds good. I was hoping we could, work this agenda so that we won't have any leftover items.
That was what I was hoping too.
Since we have that work session coming up, but.
Do you have any comments, William?
I don't see a problem with unfortunately working on Veterans Day. I'm open to us having a meeting on Veterans Day. Or if we have to move it to Thursday. I don't have a problem with us meeting on Thursday, because I really hate to backlog things, because what happens is now we're trying to rush through things and we're trying to get through old business to deal with new business, and I prefer just to deal with it as it comes to me, possibly using Thursday or Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday. Or maybe we should have met. I wish we, or maybe we want to meet Monday and Tuesday.
Do you have any comments, Kathy?
I don't think that we should move it to Monday and Tuesday. I don't think that there's time. I don't know. That just doesn't sound, why don't we deal with this after we make the agenda? I guess we will have to have a plan B.
Right.
And yeah.
That sounds good.
But
Let's go
I
ahead.
do not think that we should meet on Veterans Day because it was a big issue last year. It is a day off. It's a day off for our employees.
And we have several veterans on the board.
Yeah,
Well, I like I said, I don't have a problem maybe with us meeting on Monday and Tuesday. I mean, meeting on Monday and Tuesday, that would just suffice and get those things done.
Let's go through, William, first and see what we have on this agenda, because right now we always, if you're putting the meeting ahead of where it's supposed to be, I think that's going to be problematic, especially with getting all the documents, et cetera, ahead of time. That would now push it back another day. So let's go through the agenda. I think that's a good suggestion from Kathy, and see where we are.
we'll have to come back and modify.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So the first thing is the executive session, and we have the adult ed homeschool report, the personnel ratification report, a hearing. So this is a contract amendment. Wendy's going to have to work on all these, Frank, in terms of making them compliant with FOIA.
Correct.
Okay. And the forensic audit. And I'll put a call into Audrey, who's the one in the managing partner for the audit, to determine, one, to let her know, to confirm she's on this agenda, and for her to supply whatever documents are necessary, in a timely manner, i.e., before Thursday night, and whether or not she needs executive session. It's possible hers is all open session. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you have anything else, Dr. R, that needs to be under here?
Under executive session, just the items that are on there.
Okay. All right. And you heard my comment that we need Wendy to do the wordsmithing on those.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. No one has their hand up. Then we go through our usual order there: public session, action, agenda, approval, pledge of allegiance, public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry, I put the wrong agenda in. There is a points of celebration. It should be the October and November student of the month. So that goes on here.
Okay. And just remind me where that goes exactly.
It goes before the first public comment.
Okay. So points of celebration. Yeah.
And David's hands up.
David.
November 10th is the Marine Corps birthday. I think a shout out would be appropriate, either under the chairman's report or points of celebration. Got a lot of Marines in this area. 245th
Wow.
birthday.
Okay. Sounds nice. I think under points of celebration, Dr.
Okay.
R.
Yeah.
That's all we have.
Okay. All right.
Jan, just as an FYI, County Channel just chatted and said they're not working on Veterans Day. So
Well, there we go.
we won't be able to be covered on through the channel because they'll be off.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell them thank you for the information. All right, Chairman's report. I don't think I have anything for.
Join the meeting.
If I do, I can add it before we post the agenda.
Oh, can you report the meeting that we had in Somerville?
Sure, actually, that's a good idea. Okay. So the, that was the regional advocacy meeting.
Right.
Yeah, I can report on
Right.
that. Or would you like to, Earl?
It doesn't matter. I can
Okay.
or you can. Doesn't matter.
All right. All right, we'll add that. Did you hear that, Robin?
Under the chairman's report, or is it, or Earl gonna do it?
It's totally, I'll let Earl decide which he'd prefer.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do it.
Okay. So we'll have it then,
So I'll put it under, put legislative, or where do you want me to put it on the agenda?
That would go at announcement, right?
yeah, it could be under the,
Announcements.
Okay,
yeah, that's a great place.
okay.
All right, we'll have it down there.
You said under announcements?
Yes, sir.
I didn't think that would be a appropriate place because we are supposed to be supported, letting people know when we go to different things. I think under the chair report will be more appropriate, and then you can acknowledge him and allow him to elaborate on that. I think if you both were there, but I think it would be more of a report than an announcement
That's fine.
because he's telling what information that he's have received or what new things he's learned. So I think that's much more informal versus an announcement.
Are you good with that, Earl? That we'll put it under chairman's report and
Well, I don't have a problem. It's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
All right. Then we're down to approval of minutes. And we got 2 sets of minutes.
Mhm.
And committee reports. So Robin, obviously, you know who's meeting ahead of this before this meeting.
And haven't heard back from Mr. Campbell, but I'll check with him to see if he wants me to leave the self-evaluation on or not.
Okay,
So that might come off.
all right. All right, we're on to page 2. All right, Dr. R, well, this is your section.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yep, so we had, in terms of the superintendent's report, what we had was the COVID-19 coronavirus update. And that's what we were prepared to share this time around. There's a few other items that I think we'll have on the work session. They're probably more appropriate for the work session. So that's what we had for this meeting.
Was the COVID-19?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So Robin, obviously this is draft, and so under student improvement, I guess the
I'll put an NA in there.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
I just said under student achievement, there's a bullet like it's a placeholder for something, but we're not going to have something there, right?
Right. I'll remove that.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
Excuse me if I missed it. So all over the place. Under what all did we have on the chair's report?
We had the South Carolina School Board Association Regional Advocacy report.
And that was it.
Uh-huh.
Were we not doing the reading the superintendent under that as well, or where were we going to put that at?
Well, that
The
would have
results-
to be board
The
business
results of the
action.
evaluation, huh?
Board business action?
Okay. I just thought I remember saying that you were going to put it back there because that's where you read it last time. I was just wondering. Okay.
Well, she can't read it because we haven't finalized it.
All right.
Okay. No problem. Okay.
Okay. So then under board business, we have the donation. from the Mossy Oaks PTO in an amount of $7,700. And then we should also have superintendent's evaluation.
Mhm.
Question.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think you've got to put a placeholder under board business for the audit. I can't imagine it's going to be delivered in executive session because, obviously it pertains to district funds. So I think we'd probably be wise to put a placeholder there for that.
Yep, agree.
Isn't there at the beginning where you have action coming out of executive session? Will you take care of it there, or do we need to move it down to board business?
I don't know yet. I need to speak
Okay.
to Miss Audrey, and I've left a voicemail for her to call me.
Okay.
I think she has to tell us tell us what's in it, if it qualifies for executive session at all.
Exactly. There may be nothing about it that's a good
Right.
Mr. William Smith?
I took my hand down, but since you called on me, so if that's the case, then we still would want to put it under board action.
Well, if we're going to have a portion in executive session, and then the agenda says any action coming out of executive session, we could take action there. But she's likely to give some type of presentation publicly, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the most likely scenario, honestly.
So, and the reason why I said board action is because even if we have to take action to accept her report, is that not correct? Even if she has to give a report publicly, then action is just to accept her report. If everything is fine, then we would have to accept her report and move on. That would be board action, accepting her report. Correct?
Oh, I don't agree with that. I respectfully disagree, Mr. Smith.
So where else would you imagine putting her on the agenda?
Well, I think so. I think it depends on if she's going to do any executive session portion or not, because I guess we could put her, if she's doing an executive session portion, and then she's got to come back and do a public session, like we've done with some of the other consultants. We've put the public session, that portion of it, closer to where they came out of executive session.
Right, but my point is, if she meets with us in executive session, and then there's no action to take,
Right.
then the public is at odds because there's no action to take, then she doesn't speak publicly at all. So we're being transparent, and we put it up under board action, because the same thing she tells us in executive session, the same thing that she speaks about, then she can speak about it publicly, and the board's job is to accept her report. That's no different from us. No different from us accepting reports from other people that come before the board. It's still a report.
I have it. I've added it to the board business action.
It's there.
It's there. It's not on this draft, but I have it. We've added the superintendent's evaluation, and we've added the forensic audit to the board business action.
Okay, why I just didn't see it on my.
It's not, because we just discussed it. But I agree. I mean, I think it has to be under there.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other input? Okay. So then we go to the usual finishing things, the consent agenda, the future topics, announcements, the second public comment, and the adjournment. So I think this committee needs to make a recommendation. So we need a motion from William or Kathy about,
Okay.
if by chance there's anything left on here, where's it going?
Right. I'm raising my hand. Okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay.
I don't see your hand. Oh, because
Yeah, sorry. I know I didn't.
That's okay.
I move that any board business not finished would be finished on Wednesday, November 12th.
Wednesday's the 11th.
Wednesday's the 11th, though.
Oh, it says reconvene on November 11th. So Thursday, the 12th, sorry. Thursday,
Okay.
November 12th. Sorry, I knew I wanted the 12th, yeah.
So you move that any board business not finished be moved to Thursday, November 12th?
Yeah,
Because of the holiday on the.
because of the holiday.
Dr. Guatz, this is Frank. I have a quick question
Yes,
that I just thought about. So the forensic audit, you have a guest that's going to be possibly sharing information to the board and to the public, right, in a presentation. So
right.
if they will they do that out of executive session, or would they do that at the board business where it's listed? Because that means they'd have to hang around till the board business.
Yeah, I guess I agree. I mean, I've got to verify what they have planned, but it probably would be nicer if we, I don't remember right off the top of my head when we've had somebody who's, an outside person like that. I think we've done it, I want to say.
Early on.
Where?
Yeah, we did it early on, like
I know,
after the
but where
executive
exactly? I
session.
think it might have been after the first public comments, or it might have been after the approval of minutes. Do you remember, Robin?
Yeah.
We would do it after, well, technically you could do it after points of celebration, and then you could have, it's the two, and then we could put it there, and then you could go on with the rest of the meeting.
So that would make it so that the public comments would come after their presentation?
Correct.
Yeah, I think it would be better to have the public comments ahead of it, only because
Oh.
those people are used to coming at the beginning. Mr. Smith?
I was gonna say, it sounds like Dr. Rodriguez, or did you kind of already know what's coming out of there? Will it be something that would need to have a quick action, or could it wait?
I have absolutely no idea. I purposely made it a point not to get anywhere near that thing, just to leave it alone so that nobody could make any kind of statement or anything regarding any kind of interference on it. So I have no idea. I just heard a statement in this conversation earlier that said that they might want to have a presentation or something like that. And I was just thinking that if they're going to do a presentation, what the board seems to have done is to provide those guests that are doing presentations the opportunity to do it earlier and up front, so that they don't wait around for hours and then possibly get bumped to another day in a meeting.
Yeah,
So
that's the only reason I made that statement.
Okay.
So it seems
Thanks
like
for
we're getting
clarification.
off the motion. I don't think anybody seconded the motion, correct?
I
No.
did second the motion.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yes, I second the motion.
Okay. So the motion that
Question.
I'm going to recommend to the board is that we have, if it goes to be a 2-day meeting, the leftover items go to the day after Veterans Day, correct?
Veterans Day, Thursday, November 12th.
Yes.
Question.
Joanne
Question.
and David, Joanne has a question and David's
Yeah,
hand
go
was
ahead.
up.
Joanne?
Thanks. Do we know the board's availability for this proposed change? Our past practice has been the following day. That's why I'm asking.
No, but we do know the board's available for the, because we voted on it recently, the work session. So
Yeah,
I would be
I-
more inclined to go
yeah.
there.
I could change it. I could withdraw my motion.
Well, I'm not a voting member of the committee. I was just curious if we had an idea, about, no, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Well, we know,
Kathy.
yeah, we know that the County Channel's not available on the 11th at all.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so why don't I will withdraw my motion or amend my motion,
Uh-huh.
which I think Joanne brings up a valid point.
Uh-huh.
This way, that if the board has not finished addressing all items listed on the November 10th agenda, the board will adjourn at 9:15 and will reconvene at 8:30 a.m. on Friday, November 13th.
Do we have a second?
If you want, you can make a second and pass the gavel.
Okay, I'll second Kathy's. So go ahead, William.
Any discussion?
Well, I think that,
We've already sort of had the discussion.
yeah, I think Joanne brought up a valid point. We don't know whether people would be available Thursday night. So we know for certainty that they're available on Friday. So I think that makes sense. I'm hopeful that with this agenda, we won't need to. You know, another option is that during the meeting, somebody can make a motion to extend beyond 9:15.
Right.
So that's another, you know, another possibility during the meeting on Tuesday night.
Okay.
Well, I just like to get stuff done and not get things backed up. But I don't like to put off to what I can handle today to tomorrow. So
Really?
Question.
Yes.
Did
Go
Dave,
ahead.
well, first of all, did David Stribinger get his question in? He may be ahead of me.
He put his hand down, actually.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry, I can't see, I'm using my phone today. Just a process question, Robin, if we were to move the remainder of this agenda and add it to the work session, how would that reflect later in minutes and recordings of the meeting? Do we know? It's a little tricky, I don't recall.
I would say
Yeah.
that it would just reflect that and move to Friday and when we completed it.
But would Friday be the work session? Is that what?
Yes,
Is
that
that
would be the
correct?
work. Yes, that would be the work session.
Okay.
The remaining agenda items would have been moved to the work session.
Okay, so the agenda, so I'm just trying to figure out what the agenda for this meeting would include. So it wouldn't become convoluted or confused later on down the road, just if somebody's going back and, you know, they want to find, for example, the audit report. Okay, let's say the audit report spills over to the work session. There may be some confusion as to which agenda it's on, how to locate it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Well,
do.
I think that
Yeah.
we can manipulate the agenda to make sure the audit report doesn't get carried over. We can manipulate the order, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and just have it clearly, oops, I gotta put my hand.
Dr. Gouache,
And it needs to just be clearly stated on the agenda that you know, that this is the remaining business items from the meeting started on November, whatever it was, 10th, and have them on that agenda listed like that.
Right, because the work session agenda there's enough notice that whatever is spilt over can be listed on the work session agenda, and we can manipulate the agenda to identify what those items are.
So one more question. Would we officially adjourn when we have covered all of the topics pertaining to this established agenda? And then open up a new meeting for the work session on Friday for those topics on that agenda? What would the process be? I'm just asking because I don't recall. I know sometimes we extend an agenda to a day where there are no other commitments, but this is slightly different in that we're adding it on to an existing meeting and its own separate agenda that goes with it.
However you all want to handle it.
Would it be possible to, if it does extend onto Friday, we start with this extension on Friday, then when we finish this agenda, we adjourn that meeting and then start the work session? Have
You can do that.
a different agenda? Does that make it a little cleaner?
That might make it a little cleaner. My personal preference, and again, I'm not a voting member of the committee, but I would just say you've done a good job of putting this agenda. It doesn't look overly burdened. I would just forge ahead with this and try to tackle this in one evening. It may complicate it less. That's just my personal input, but obviously the committee decides.
But I'm hopeful that we can tackle this in one evening as well, Joanne, but I think we have to be prepared. So
Gotcha.
my
Understood.
my recommendation though, would be to move the forensic audit earlier in the agenda, or even under board business action, make that the first thing. So that list that the first bullet point, so that we don't have to have the person come back on Friday.
Sounds good.
So Robin, we've done that before. Usually it's once a meeting started, right? And we move, can we do it
We can do it ahead of time. You can.
ahead
you
of
can-
time?
Right, we can set the agenda up.
Yeah.
Right, but I thought if you do it at the meeting, it has to be on the emergency.
Well, let's do it now. That's what,
That's what I'm saying. We can set the
Yeah.
agenda up now and have it. If you want it right after executive session, we can move and have the action if that's what you want to do
Dr. Guatz,
at the beginning.
Yes.
yeah, you got your hand up.
Yes, I have for quite a while. So I mean, obviously it's each individual's member's self-discipline as to whether this meeting finishes before 9:15 or not, period. So, we have to have some, secondary plan. And I think this motion that I just seconded that was made by Kathy is a good one because we do know that the board members are available. I also concur with Kathy and Joanne that I think it would be cleaner if we finish the board business action on the morning of I think it's Friday the 13th, adjourn that meeting and then immediately call to order the work session. That way the two agendas and the information is separated.
I was waiting on you, the guys, to put your hand down. You didn't put your hand down,
Thank you.
so I can know. I understand. Okay, thank you. Anyone else have anything else under this topic?
Can we vote?
So the motion is how you want it, Kathy?
I can't see it. I have to,
It says, I move that any board business not finished on Tuesday, November 10th will adjourn and reconvene at 8:30 a.m. on Friday, November 13th.
yes.
All right, I'm going to call for the vote.
Yes for Guads.
Yes.
No for Smith.
Please announce the results, Mr. Smith.
Guads and Robine, yes. Smith, no.
So the motion.
So the
is
motion passes.
successful. Yeah. So the prior motion, I'll take over again, goes away because this was really a substitute.
Right.
Okay. All right, so let's just before we decided on what we'd do with leftover items. Now the last thing is where are we going to put, I do think that it's wise to right now move the forensic at least the forensic audit, or we could move all the board business action to like right after the first public comments. Or just Miss Audrey?
So we have, for board business, so I have forensic audit, superintendent evaluation, and the donation.
Right.
So you want them after first public comments?
Does Kathy or William have any opinion?
I think that makes sense, because then the only thing that would be carried over to the next day or till Friday would be the coronavirus update if needed. And that might, be good work session
Uh-huh.
topics anyways. I don't know what how Dr. Rodriguez feels about that.
I have to step away from.
Yeah, that's fine.
William, what do you think?
That's fine. As far as whether you make the motion, that's fine.
Okay, I move that we move the board business action portion of the agenda to be placed after the first public comments.
A second for discussion.
Okay. Anybody want to, no one's hand is up. Mr. Smith?
So basically, you're moving up all the board action, so we can get that done early on, correct?
Yes.
If I can support that motion. All right, yes, ma'am.
It just takes away any doubt then,
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, your hand is still up.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, ready for the vote? Guad's yes.
Robine, yes.
Smith, yes.
Okay, the motion
I
carries.
think
unanimously.
Robin stepped away.
Okay.
Ms. Christian, I know she's back.
So Robin,
I'm back.
okay,
I'm back.
Okay, board business action is being moved to just after the first public comments.
Okay,
All three items.
okay.
All right. Any further discussion about the November 10th meeting? Mr. Smith?
My question was going to be, in past practice, have we done that before? Have we moved up business action before? On an actual at the committee level at the committee level, have we done that before?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Ms. Robine?
yes, I just would like to make a comment that the forensic audit, the material, if she's going to do a presentation to us, that it needs to be received so that it can be in board docs the Thursday before the meeting. So that we'll have time to look at it if she's going to give us something in writing, unless it deems that it goes into executive session, and then we would have to come in and look at it prior.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I have a call into her.
Yeah.
I left her a voicemail today, so she'll probably call me back.
Okay.
All right. So now we're on to
Actually,
you, Mr. Smith.
actually, I was going to say that's for anyone who's bringing anything before the board, who's bringing anything before the board in a PowerPoint presentation, including the superintendent and staff. If anyone who's bringing anything before the board in the PowerPoint, a PowerPoint presentation, that it needs to be sent to us on that Thursday.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
So now we can move on to the work session agenda.
Let's see what I did. I put in 2 agendas. Hold on a second. Stop share. These are the topics that we have for work session. So you can say which days and how much time.
So let's just go down in order then. The efficiency study would be Dr. R and staff. So what do you think, Dr. Rodriguez?
He might be muted.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry,
There.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think Friday would be a good day. And in terms of time, I would say probably about 30-minute presentation, and then maybe some time for questions.
So what would your 45 or 1 hour?
Yeah, 45 is good.
Okay.
Okay.
The next is the board policies continuation of first reading. I
I have a
would,
question.
your hands up. I don't see it. I don't know who's talking. Who's talking?
I just put my hand up. I've been having a little problem with my computer. I was in there today to get it fixed, but with the board policies, I have no problem with us doing the board policy, but I remember that we discussed that we were going to have a special called meeting to work on the board policies and try to get that halfway knocked out. I was wondering what happened to that.
Well, we can decide that. I mean, it would have to be something, we'd have to know when people are available and if they want to do that. And I think we could cover that under the, I mean, this is coming up in what, 11 days. So we could cover that under at the work session.
Yeah, or I think that this committee can go ahead and ask Robin to, because I thought that we had already asked Mrs. Cushionberry to see some availability for those days. Did we not do that already?
No, sir, we have not set up to find out times because you had other things that came up.
Okay. So maybe we need to revisit asking her to possibly see what other days beside the work session may be available to have a meeting to get the first reading done and to focus specifically on board policy, to specifically focus on board policies. Because I think at the work session there may need to be some other things along with that, because I believe that will take a whole lot of time within itself. So I'm a little concerned about that. And I just remember the board talking about it. That's all. I was wondering where did that go and how did we lose track of that?
Ms. Robine?
Yeah, I would suggest that we put it on the agenda and give a time limit to it, like a 2-hour time limit. When I'm looking at some of these other things that are on here, they don't look like they will be as time consuming. And then at the end of that 2 hours, we could, talk about selecting another special called meeting date, and people would be there and maybe could look at their calendars.
Question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Thanks. Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I can't see. The approval of the 2021 board meeting calendar might be good to have some of our newly elected board members there and participating because there's a bit of a transition going on. Will we make a concerted effort to reach out to those folks?
Yes,
not-
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we always do.
I agree with you, but we're not up there yet. You can't see what's in front of us. We're talking right now about board policies. So that's the topic. The next topic is the board meeting calendar. So it sounds like board
Oh,
policy.
okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought we were looking at the whole thing as a sum.
Yeah, we're just
total.
going right down, as I mentioned, in order.
Okay,
The day and the time.
sounds good.
No problem.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the board policies, I agree. I mean, I think once you go beyond 2 hours, it gets to be, testy and people's thought process isn't as good. And I think at that point, we can see where we are and decide whether or not the board wants to have a special called meeting for it. And then we'll know people's availability because they'll be there at the meeting to express what their availability is. So that, to me, seems like that would be a good thing for Saturday, the board policies.
Saturday in 2 hours.
Yeah,
We,
Kathy?
I agree. Fresh, start out with that first thing on the agenda on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because we usually do it last. Can you lower your hand, Kathy? Or if you have.
Uh,
Thank
Did it
you.
come down? I can't see.
Yeah, it's still up there.
Okay,
There you go.
there you
So
go.
it's up now. All right, now we're on to the approval of the 2021 board meeting calendar, and I concur with what Joanne's already said. It would be good to have the newly elected members present if they would like to be. So Robin, I guess in a day or two, you'll know who that is. And
We normally invite, when we have the work session, we invite new board members to participate. They're told that they can't vote, but they're there to participate. And then we ask them to bring their calendar so that we
Okay.
can schedule this, so we can get their input for the 21 calendar.
yeah, so would you recommend doing that on Friday or
Saturday,
Saturday? And
because if they have to work or whatever, then they are more apt to be available on Saturday.
how long do you think that will be? I remember last time it was a long time.
It was a long time, so
1 hour?
yeah.
Because you're gonna have already write a draft.
I'll give you a draft. I'll propose a draft schedule to you.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So legislative update, that will be Lynn Stokes Murray. And were you able to find out which day she'd prefer?
She has not responded back to my email yet, but most likely it might be Friday if we
Yeah,
want
that's
to plan that.
And I think she usually likes Friday, maybe right after lunch would be good for her. I believe she has some commitment on Fridays at 3:30 with some other group she represents, so. And I suspect her presentation, if you could find out, Robin, wouldn't you think it might be 30 minutes?
30 to 45, no more than 45 minutes with questions.
Okay, we'll say 30 to 45 minutes. All right. No one has their hand up. All right. Lessons learned with K-12.
Yep. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So we'd say Friday and we'd say about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Um,
David? Oh, I hear you.
Yes. Yeah. I've done a lot of lessons learned. I don't think you can get it done in 30 minutes unless you've already done it and you're going to give us the results.
Yeah, I mean, so that's sort of the idea, to have that prepared and shared with you, and then time for interaction
Okay.
after that. Do you think we're
Okay.
better off going 45 minutes to an hour, or what do you think?
Well, I don't see. I had a whole different thing. I thought it was going to be the whole lessons learned, but if you're going to do that ahead of time, I would say 1 hour would be fine.
Okay.
And I'm just asking that, by the way, because, you know, in the construction updates, I always ask about the lessons learned. And I'm never convinced that they're done the way I'm used to, which of course I think is the best way to do it, because that's the way I'm used to. So I'm just trying to put a little levity in here. So I'm going to probably have some questions.
Okay.
So an hour will be good. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. The next is the process of handling donations. That was Mel's request. And I think, haven't you had a discussion about it already at operations, David?
We discussed this in general terms. I think Mel, in fact, Mel was there at the operations committee when we talked about it, but it's a significant question. I think it's going to take at least an hour, because it's talking about equity.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it in operations, and we came to the conclusion that there was a trade-off in asking donations to be district-wide versus getting the donations, because some people may balk at it, but I don't want to discuss it here in agenda setting too much. But it's not a quick close item. And
No, that seems like that should be a Friday item.
Yeah, that's going to be at a minimum an hour. I'd put an hour and a half, because it looks like we have time on Friday. I don't know.
All right. Then we have the district state textbook adoption policy. That was Mr. Geyer's request.
Yep. I suspect that on that one, that it's another one that could go an hour and a half or so, because I think there'll be a presentation about it. But just reading the dialogue on email around it, I think that that it's one that could possibly have an extended time on there. But the board's going to want to banter around, I think.
So right now we have 3 hours scheduled on Saturday. And 45, 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours and 30 minutes on Friday. Just,
I would put this one on Friday as well. It's just my thought, and fill up the Friday
okay.
timeline would be my thought. But
Can I question,
Yes.
suggestion? Maybe, the district state textbook adoption policy discussion, would that be possible to put it maybe late in the day on Friday?
Ms. Orszak, were you asking me?
Well, the officers.
Okay.
And you, Dr. Frank, because, your staff, I guess, would have to speak to this. Also, was it suggested at all that this go through the academics committee first, because it is such an information piece? Was that brought up at all or suggested by Mr. Geyer when he proposed this?
I think he specifically, as I recall, requested it not go through academics. He wanted it, that he thought it was important for the full board to weigh in and get the information. Do you remember, Kathy or William?
I don't.
I for some reason, I think you're correct around that. I don't remember exactly, but I know there was some dialogue back and forth, and I thought he specifically asked for to be in front of the full board, I think.
Mhm.
I don't, but I do think that this should go towards the academic committee, and I can give them time to research this before this is brought before the full board. Um, I, I think that bringing it before us could I think it should. I think it's premature. I think it should go before the academic committee first and see the underlying questions and let them vet it first before it comes to us. I would like to even possibly save us some time on it and time on it. That's my take on it.
Mr. Stribinger?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd suggest you put it on this agenda, put an hour and a half or whatever you think is appropriate, and then we can make a motion to assign it to the academic committee and see if the board wants it assigned to the academic committee. And if we pursue that, then I would go along with Joanne's suggestion and put it as the last thing on the agenda. Because then if it gets assigned to an academic committee, then we all feel very good and go home early.
And Ms. Orszak, from my perspective, it doesn't matter where on the agenda it goes. So if
Okay.
you know, that's the board's preference, that's fine. The committee's preference, that's fine.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, impact fees.
So, I'm
Impact-
sorry, we said Friday, an hour and a half, or what did we? Okay.
Yeah.
I would put 90 minutes, and then if not, you know, if it's moved to the academic committee, then it's moved to the academic committee, and you save 90 minutes. But if it's determined to move forward at the work session, then you have the time.
Okay. All right.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
The finance committee had brought forward a recommendation to the full board a meeting or so back, wanting to see the district's emergency plans in the event of a natural catastrophe, something of that nature, because the committee was then going to build on that and go back at our next committee meeting and take a look at 8% funding and how that might be impacted or tie in with the emergency plan. It was clear, I didn't bring it up again, it was clear that our last agenda was overburdened and there was no space for it, so I didn't press for it. But I was hoping to find it on the work session agenda as a postponement. Again, that came out of the finance committee. All three members agreed in concert that we should see that as a board. Can you speak to that?
Did you make a report on that, Joanne, coming out
Yes.
from the meeting? Because I don't,
She did. Yes,
I'm
she did.
looking
Yes.
back in my notes. Okay.
It's
Right,
on,
if you look here, look at the future agenda topics, it's on there.
it's on our
Oh.
future agenda topics.
And we couldn't put it on exactly the second meeting in October because of the
Yeah.
Oh,
length.
I
There
got
was a
it.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot at the last meeting, so I didn't bother bringing up again. It was clear the writing was on the wall. There were higher priority items, but so I don't know, whatever. I'm just bringing it forward again as a reminder.
Well, actually, I think
Do you want that on the,
You've got a full agenda. It seems like it would be almost a replacement item for something here.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Smith?
I was wondering, should that not go on Friday's agenda upon right after the impact study? Should that agenda not go right behind that topic?
We haven't talked about the impact fees yet.
I mean, excuse me, the efficiency study, excuse me. I would say that topic should go right on Friday, right after the efficiency study. That topic should go next because they almost kind of, I think, deal with each other to some degree.
Kathy?
I was going to suggest that they really, the impact fees, we've done our work with the impact fees. We just have to hear from the county council, right? I mean, am I wrong?
I think
Is there some?
I think there's going to be more to do around the impact fee than just go to the county council, and I think that's an update and information that I think the board should
Okay.
hear about.
I thought it was out of our hands. Okay.
Well, I think there's probably more that might need to be done around it, and so I think I mean I don't, in order to not have the discussion now, I think the board would need some information, kind of an update on that.
So I think we have to move something to Saturday.
And I don't think that necessarily the impact fee discussion is really going to be a really long discussion, but I just think that it's something we need to update the board on, and then so I would say maybe 30 minutes total.
Okay, so right now, let me just look. We've got efficiency study, I would say 45 minutes. I can't imagine that will be 30 minutes. Legislative update, 45. Lesson learned, we said 1 hour. Donations, an hour and a half. The textbook thing, an hour and a half. So let's see, that's 3 hours, 4 hours, like 5.5 hours just from those things. So with impact fees, it would be 6 hours. And part of it depends on whether we have leftover items from the 10th. All right, Kathy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't take my hand down.
David?
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize Dr. Rodriguez is right. I'm staying pretty current on these impact fees, and there's a lot we didn't know.
Okay.
Well,
Mr. Smith?
once again, I think that a review of the emergency plans can go after the efficiency study. I mean, that on Friday, I think that because basically the efficiency study is the first thing that we're doing. Can we get some times?
We'll put the times once you decide how much each things are taken so that we know where to put the times.
Well, there's so much going on right now on the list on the screen. And I'm trying to categorize it as in time and what we have going on so I can get a visual. I'm more of a visual learner. So I'm trying to see what all we have on Friday's date, because we have them all clustered together as in more of an agenda.
Those are all Friday's things. Does that help you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I was suggesting that we put the review of the emergency plans right after the efficiency study. Is there a problem with doing that, Kathy and With Mrs. Robine and Dr. Watts. Do I need to make a motion or?
Well, I don't see the relationship that you see there, but it doesn't, you know. So we're gonna fill up, we're gonna have an 8-hour day on Friday.
What time are you starting on Friday? You also have to put public comments in there for 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I don't see the, can you scroll down, Robin, so we can know the other way?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, so the first two is an hour and a half, then we got an hour and a half there, so that's 3 hours, 4 hours, 5.5. So why not, I don't see the relationship of the, emergency 8% funds to the efficiency study at all. Why could we not have that on Saturday? And I think we've got to be careful, because if we put, I think 6 hours max on Friday, because we may be having items left from the 10th. Mr. Smith?
Correct. I just figured the efficiency study, we're talking about positions and different things, and we're talking about district finances and emergency, what we have, staff. So we're kind of understanding them. So I correlate both of them together. When we're talking about the emergencies, what we need, what we have, and so that's why I correlate those both together, because on one we're talking about Can you come down a little bit, Mrs. Christianberry? We're talking about the emergency plans, how we're using funding versus when the COVID-19, if you ask me, that was kind of a possibly at the beginning of the emergency, that transition that we had to go into. So understanding that to what we went to now versus staff that we use now versus the staff that we would use going into emergency plans or funding if something happens. So those were the correlation in my head. I mean, what anyone else is thinking, I'm not sure, but that's how I correlated the two.
Mr. Strivenger?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could I ask that we would put a time on these last two things and then figure out how to,
Yeah.
where it would go?
I think we said 30 minutes.
For impact fees is 30 minutes?
I believe that's what was said already.
Okay.
Yes. It was.
So did we decide that's Friday or?
I think if we just put the time out there, it would help us
Okay.
figure out where to put it. Because I agree, if we go more than 6 hours, our efficiency seems to really go down.
And the last one, how much time?
I have no idea. Do you, Dr. Rodriguez?
I'm sorry. Are you talking about the emergency 8% funds?
Mm-hmm. How long a topic do you think that would be?
Might be a better question
Ms.
for Joanne.
Ms. Orishak, yeah, I was just going to ask. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
sure the nature of the discussion that was had at the Finance Committee. So can you give us an idea as to that and how
Yeah.
long you think it would be?
Well, just for a presentation to the full board on what our catastrophic or disaster plans are. What are the plans themselves? You can dip into funding. That could be a component of the conversation, but doesn't have to be. We just wanted to gain an understanding. It's been a little while since we had an update on that. We were fortunate, knockwood. We're not completely through the woods yet, but we've had a very quiet hurricane season here. But that
So
was
when
the
you say-
gist of the conversation.
When you say catastrophic, I mean there's lots of different possible catastrophes, right? Are you saying like the destruction of a building? Are you of a school?
Yes,
Are you...
destruction of property, yes, due to a natural disaster, for example.
Okay.
Folks, I have to go. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I have to go. My last comment about this really is 8% funds can't be used, to my knowledge, for personnel. So they are facility type funds, but put it wherever you want. I've got a commitment and I have to go. Sorry.
Thank you. So, Ms. Orchard, what was your time estimate?
I'm going to hand that over to the committee. And I hope that that adequately describes what the finance committee was looking for. But of course, I don't have my finger on resources and who would provide that update and, you know, what's involved in that. I assume a lot of it would fall under our operations division.
I would say, just to be on the safe side, you know, I mean, let's just block an hour.
Okay, I think that would be adequate. I can't imagine it extending beyond that time.
So, William, my suggestion, since it exactly, what if we did impact, since we have right now on Friday, I believe it's 5.5 hours. 3, 4, yeah, 5.5 hours. We said probably, and actually, and then Robin pointed out too that we're going to have public comments for 30 minutes. So that would be 6 hours. So maybe we should just leave it the way it is, that, you know, we've got Friday with the plus the public comments make 6 hours. And then on Saturday, we have 2, 3, 4.5 hours.
With public comments on Saturday as well.
When usually those are, I've forgotten, at the beginning or the end.
On Saturday should be at the end, but you all can decide where you want them to be.
Okay.
We put them at the beginning because it's easier for people to know what time to start. Anything afterwards, we don't have a set time, not unless you stop and do it at that time.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Smith?
Yes, I'm looking, right
Okay.
now I'm digesting this information.
Okay.
So we would have 5 items on Friday. Is that correct?
Correct.
And 4 items on Saturday.
Correct. And the longest item is the first thing on Saturday morning.
I was wondering, if we could move legislative updates until to Saturday morning.
We're asking, so that's the lobbyist who normally has when we've given her an option, she's chosen Friday.
I'm sure that they would want to do a Friday versus Saturday, but we are paying them. I mean, all right, that's fine with me. I'm just
Okay, so Robin can figure out the time blocks, right?
What time do you want to start on Friday? Are we starting are we starting at 9 o'clock? Are we starting at 8:30? Because we might have a spillover from Tuesday. What time should we?
I guess
I was thinking 9 o'clock.
yeah, that's fine.
9 o'clock on both days.
Kathy Robine.
Join the meeting.
Hey, Kathy. All right,
So we would start at 9 on both days?
That's fine.
yeah, that sounds good.
And are we putting impact fees in the revenue that both of those will go on Saturday?
Mhm. To make it more evenly distributed, yeah.
If you ask me
Can you mute Kathy? I don't think she realizes she's on here by her phone.
I'm back on.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I was just concerned that I think that the reviewing of the district emergency plan is more important than the textbooks conversation on Friday. But that's fine. That's fine. I'll leave it the way it is. That's fine.
Do you want? This is the leftover. This is the future topic agendas.
So
Oh,
maybe a
remember.
question for Robin, a question for Lynn Stokes Murray would be, here we have on the November work session, if you scroll down, yeah, the legislative priorities regarding the minority women business owned enterprises, or I think that's what it stands for.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's something that Lynn Stokes Murray could address in hers, include that in hers.
Okay.
I think this is a pretty full agenda, and I think we have most of the things on here.
The other two items that are future agenda topics are the recognition for former board member, Ms. Frida Mitchell, and presentation on support service, how we are to engage with them and what degree. Those two things came out of the last meetings.
So can you go back to see our can you scroll so I can see all of Saturday? Oh, we'll include one of the things on Saturday?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Smith?
I was going to say maybe can we fit the support of services on Saturday as your last thing?
Dr. Rodriguez, like an hour, or I don't know how long it would take, 45 minutes?
Can you say that again?
So it's presentation on support services. How are we engaged with them and to what degree?
With the that's referring to the community, the service providers that are working with like Boys and Girls Club and
Yeah, exactly.
and YMCA.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we can add that this Saturday.
Okay. And how long do you anticipate that?
presentation wise, I'd say, maybe a 20-minute presentation and then, just some question and answer after that.
So somewhere between maybe 30 and 45 minutes with that?
Yes.
So it looks like, 9 to 12 would be the board policies and the meeting calendar. Then we'd have lunch and then like a 45-minute lunch maybe, or I've forgotten what we can do. That. And then 1 hour, we would have, after lunch would be the impact fees, the emergency plans, and the report service.
David's hands up.
Mr. Stribinger?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I would just suggest that the recognition of Ms. Mitchell be a point of celebration, and you can put it on the agenda for the 10th. That would be, yeah, that could be on, under your report, or it could be under a point of celebration. I mean, it's just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Actually, I'm asking for a proclamation on that. That's why it's for it to be I asked for it to be a discussion.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I can get the information on her because she not only was the first Black on the school board, she also was responsible for child care in Beaufort County, like Head Start,
Right.
and some other things also. So I'll get that information this week.
So is that a points of celebration, or are we putting it under board business for discussion?
I think that need to be on the board business for discussion.
Number 32. Down here close to where the traffic place.
Mr. Smith?
Robin, can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Joanne.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know where I am in the queue.
Go ahead.
Since we're back on the November 10th board meeting, the board took action at its September 1st meeting. I move that the topic of this year's evaluation be voted on tonight, and the topic of subsequent years' evaluation be discussed at the first meeting in November. And I'm not certain if we folded that in there or not. I know we'll be talking about the summary of the evaluation. I do know that much, but I wasn't certain if we recalled that the board did take action on that and use that first meeting in November. Again, that motion can be found. That is the, where am I here? September 1st board meeting. And I don't know what that does to extend the time slots there.
Mr. Smith?
Well, I was gonna say, I guess that could be added to board business, correct?
Well, I would assume, look, you decide, you're the officers here. You can place it wherever you deem appropriate, but I just wanted to remind you, in case it had gotten lost in the shuffle, that the board did commit to discussing subsequent years evaluations. So I don't know what you do with that. The vote was 10-1.
Okay.
Did that go under go number 5, where we talk about this and the evaluation of the superintendent?
We possibly might need to put that on the board business. Action. Because if action needs to be taken on it, then we would want it to be there.
Or another place it could be, would be under the, well,
You have superintendent evaluation already under board business. But
Yeah, that's
can
exactly
we-
what I had. So it could be as part of that.
Well, my only question would be if there would need to be any, if there needs to be any action taken, will that hinder it?
In what way?
And anyway, so anyone bring a motion?
It's under board business, so you can take action on it.
Right, and you're making the topic broad, the superintendent's evaluation. That includes the letter for this year, and then it will include going forward. I think it's already included in the what we already have under board business action.
We can list it out separately under superintendent, make it a indentation to also include subsequent years if that's how you want it listed.
Yeah, that way we're transparent and we're spelling out exactly what we're doing. We're being intentional about it. I don't have a problem with that.
So Robin, can I ask, so you're saying have it under goal number 5?
No, I'm saying under board business, you have superintendent evaluation. And then I put up under superintendent evaluation, subsequent years or however we, put those.
Yeah, why don't you list under superintendent's evaluation, list 2019, 2020, because that covers what we just did. And then under that, subsequent years or subsequent evaluations or something like that.
Yes.
That
Yes,
would cover both.
yes.
Are you good with that, Mr. Smith and Kathy Robine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Mrs. Orshak, does that take care of what you're asking for?
Well, actually, I was not the maker of that motion. I didn't
Okay.
initiate it. I think we need to hear from those who initiated it a little more in detail what they envisioned that discussion to include.
Okay.
So also under board business, am I putting the discussion of Ms. Frida Mitchell, or is that going under points of celebration?
My vote would be under points of celebration.
Yeah, I agree.
Question.
Ms.
Yes.
Orshak?
William, the question for William, you mentioned the possibility of a resolution.
Right.
So typically, who writes our resolutions? Is it in-house counsel?
Right. Right.
We've got a number of them.
Right, and so that was those were my questions, and that was information that I did not know and I did not understand because I've never had or asked for a resolution to be done before, and I thought this was something that we would need to discuss in a public business meeting, and it need to be agreed upon. I'm not sure aware of how this procedure works, and also if we have a resolution that we possibly would want to give it to one of her children or someone in her family to receive that.
Nice.
So Earl,
I will be getting in touch with one of her children sometime today or tomorrow. Because,
what are you gonna?
and have her to give me all that information, put in.
Yeah, but how do you see the what do you see the celebration being?
It can be a proclamation.
Okay, so then we need somebody to write a proclamation.
Yes, people in communication service can do that. Jim Fawcett used to do that when he was here. Let me go ahead and gather the information.
But
So we possibly need to wait on this then.
Huh?
So would you say that we would possibly need to wait on this or no?
You have to get I'm gonna get the information, but I'm gonna talk to her daughter.
yeah, but
Okay.
what we're asking is that all going to take place? Plus, they have to write a proclamation,
Right.
and the board has to approve that all by
Right.
November 10th. Or do you think having it at the December meeting would be?
We can have it at the December meeting. I don't think it'll be a problem with that.
Yeah. Are you good with that, William?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Because I think it allows more time to do it.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Kathy?
I
I
don't
think she might
see
be
her.
gone. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she's
I think
gone.
she went. Okay. Your hand is back up, Mr. Smith, or not down? Okay. All right. So, all right, so let's go back to please the work session. So can we finalize this, Will, or?
That's fine, Dr. Watts.
Okay. And I'll let Robin put in we said we're gonna start at 9 both days, and she can put in the times for lunch. And I think in the past, did we do 45 minutes, Robin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you in agreement too, Will, that it seems smarter to have the public comments on the second day right at 9 o'clock, because that makes it easier for the public to know what time they're going, because they won't know exactly the time if they go at the end.
I have no problem with that.
Okay. Any other comments for the work session? All right, we need to now then decide on the next agenda setting meeting, which I think Robin can tell us the date of the next board meeting.
Our next board meeting is in December. We only had one in November.
Okay,
I think and we have a SIC meeting scheduled. I have to get the, hold on. All right, our next meeting is we have a SIC meeting scheduled December 3rd. So that's the joint SIC and board. So we would have, and then we have a board meeting scheduled for December 8th.
okay. So first of all, that joint meeting with the SIC would be a Zoom meeting, it sounds like, because we're still not
Yes,
having the
correct.
public schools yet. Let me go to.
So that's the
I'm sorry,
first
say the date
Thursday.
again, December 3rd.
That would be the first Thursday in December.
So,
Well, we can do it on the 30th. On the 30th of
yeah, that
November.
doesn't give much time for the,
It would, and what we normally would do is you all decide if you want the same format. Well, we can't, so never mind. The whole thing is Zoom. I changed one.
Well, how about Tuesday? How about Tuesday, December the 1st?
So you would need to decide the topic so that we can send out, or what the format would be, since we're doing it by Zoom.
Wait, I'm lost. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, excuse me, help me understand this. Are we deciding on the next agenda setting date?
yes.
So that would be Monday, the 23rd of November.
Why do you say there?
It would be the week before the next meeting, which it would be Thursday. The joint SIC meeting is Thursday, December 3rd. So you would meet the week before.
Yeah, but I can tell you already,
Yes.
remember we
That's
switched.
Thanksgiving. That's
Yeah,
Thanksgiving
and that's
week.
the week of Thanksgiving, and I'm not available any day that week. And Kathy isn't either. I'm 99% sure she's not available.
And so then our next meeting would be November 30th for our December 8th meeting.
So would it be too late I mean, I think we need to reach out to the SICs about how what they want to cover, because it's going to be a totally different format via Zoom.
Correct. So we would need to meet like within the next week or so we can ask.
Come up with the agenda.
Yes, or for you all to decide how you want it to be, so that we can let them know ahead of time.
I got you. Okay, so Robin, how about possibly the 19th?
That's
of
fine with me.
of November.
That's good.
That is, whose meeting is on the 19th? Hold on.
I don't have anything on my calendar for that. I have something on the 18th. I have an academic meeting on the 18th.
Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The 19th might be at Ad hoc Bluffton that has not been confirmed yet because they would have
Okay.
normally met on Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
theirs might be moved up to the 19th, but that
Okay,
has not
how
been
about-
confirmed yet.
How about the 16th?
16th is open.
Okay, that'll go. How's the 16th?
Not good because we're going to meet the 10th, the 13th, the 14th.
Oh, that's true. That's
It's
true.
not good. How about, what time is the academics on the 18th? Can't we just meet for agenda setting either before or after that?
Academics is at 2 o'clock.
So how about 4 o'clock on the 18th?
You said.
You said your commitment was the agenda, it was the academics on the 18th, and they're at 2, so it'll be 2 to 4, so just have our meeting right after.
All right, that's fine. I guess that's
Okay.
fine.
So on 18th at 4 o'clock will be the agenda setting for,
For the SIC.
yeah, for the 3rd. And then on the 30th, that would be our Monday ahead of the business meeting on the 8th will be at 4 o'clock so the 30th at 4 will be for the December 8th meeting. Does that
For
sound
the
right?
Correct. Correct.
Are you right? Is that right, Will? Is that agreeable?
I believe so.
Well, can you check while we're all
Yeah.
online here?
Yeah. Yes, it would be the 30th.
Okay. All right, so the 18th is for the SIC meeting on the 3rd, and the 30th is for the business meeting on the 8th, and both of the agenda settings will be at 4 p.m.
And if I may, what time is the meeting on the 18th, Mrs. Cushionberry? I mean on the 7th, on the,
Which meeting?
you said that there's a meeting on Thursday, on the 19th?
It has not been confirmed yet, but it could be possibly, it might be the Ad hoc Bluffton, because their meeting is going to have to be moved because of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. Yes, their meeting will be moved because of Thanksgiving, but it has not
Okay.
been confirmed yet.
Okay, no problem. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. Well, can we go back to the agenda?
Which one? Which one?
For this meeting
Oh,
that we're currently in?
let's see. I'm sorry.
Do we have any other business, Will?
No, ma'am. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Sounds good. I second. Adjourned. Good night, everyone. Bye.